Medic!
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Medic Up podcast. Brand new episode, brand new stuff for 2019. We were lucky enough to have our friend Katie Contreras come in to town for the weekend, and I conned her into stopping by the studio to just sit down and talk with me and Dietrich, aka the Skinny Medic from the interwebs, and it ended up just being three medics talking, three educators, three medics with a couple years experience, and we share a bunch of the same interests with Stop the Bleed and some TAC Med type stuff. So we got together, we talked, we hit the standard, Medic Up podcast questions. How'd you get here? What brought you into EMS? What have you done for the past couple years? What do you do now? And it ended up just the three of us spending a shitty Friday morning with bad weather and just talking into microphones and hanging out. So here's the Friends from the Internet episode. Before we get into it, though, we get a couple sponsors now. New sponsors sponsoring the Medic Up podcast, which is awesome. Bunch of local guys, local businesses, local first responders. Want to tell you about them? Guys, go check them out. Number one, Fuel the Machine Apparel. Fuel the Machine Apparel, they're based on the idea of not just a brand, but a lifestyle. They're pro-health, pro-first responder, pro-military. They believe you got to take care of yourself before you can help others. And again, can't agree more. Can't agree more. Fuel the Machine is a first responder owned and operated business. All the designs are created in-house and printed by them in the USA. They're their own quality control. Their slogan, I love the slogan, man. Be the solution, not the problem. Go check them out at fuelthemachine.com. www.fuelthemachineapparel.com. Listen up. Phil's a great guy. Solid medic. He's a friend. One of the most fit dudes I know. Great design ideas for these shirts. Go buy a hoodie, go buy a t-shirt, go check him out. My personal favorite right now, the Uberlance t-shirt. He's got a new one coming out, the Death Fighter. It looks awesome. Seriously, these aren't the cheesy fire department EMS t-shirts that say, Race the Reaper, I fight what you fear, or like the garbage ones, paid to save your ass, not kiss it. Go check them out for yourself. Check out all the coolness over at www.fuelthemachineapparel.com. Our other sponsor, Medical Gear Outfitters. Again, from our guest today, Skinny Medic. He's the owner and operator of Medical Gear Outfitters. Local paramedic, mission to equip individuals with top quality supplies, training, and the mindset they need to empower themselves to respond to an emergency. He sells it all. He customized first aid kits you can build yourself. He has pre-made kits. If you head over to www.medicalgearoutfitters.com, check out their selection, pre-made kits, trauma kits, individual first aid kits. If you're looking for Stop the Bleed, they got them. If you're looking for a work kit, you're looking for a travel kit, you're going in the woods for a couple days, you're going hunting, they got them. They got something for everybody, for any of your needs. If you don't see a pre-made kit, he's got all the supplies, the pouches, the bags, all the medical supplies, tourniquets, hemostatic dressings, all of it to fit your needs. You can purpose build your kit, everything from the at-home family first aid kit, from bumps, bruises, scrapes, stings, and all the way to those individual IFAKs for first responders, work kits, car kits, large kits for MCI and active shooter. If you don't see it on the website, email them and they'll fix you up, man. They'll set you up. They'll square you away. Free shipping on all orders. There's going to be a link in the show notes. You follow that from the Medic Up podcast, you're going to get 10% off your order. So remember, you never know when you're going to be the first responder, so get the right gear and the right training. Medical Gear Outfitters. So let's get to it. Here comes our friend from San Marcos, Texas, Katie Contreras, and Dietrich, Skinny Medic. So here we are. Friends from the Internet Day. With I'll use your real name because I don't care. Dietrich, the Skinny Medic from the YouTubes, and Lieutenant Katie Contreras from San Marcos, Texas. I know her from the Instagrams and when she was judging us at National Tactical Medical Competition 2016. When did we go? Ish. Yeah, 16, I think. I don't know. It might have been 17.
17.
Maybe. I think it was 16. It's horrible. So, yeah. Hanging out today. Just honestly goofing off. Trying to figure out what to talk about. And our commonalities are we're educators. We all do Stop the Bleed. We nerd out over tourniquets. We argue on the internet over bad tourniquets.
Instagram.
We all have a small obsession with Legos. and that's pretty much going to be your episode. So, yeah, here we are. Friday. Crappy weather. Katie was supposed to be in Columbus, Georgia. I thought she spelled Columbia, South Carolina wrong and didn't know where she was going, but she was here. She was going to be teaching some classes, trying to horn in on our TECC teaching here on the East Coast. Me and Dietrich got that locked down, all right, in South Carolina. So stay out.
Not for long.
Nah, probably. You're probably right. I have not. I've cut my teaching way back, mostly because of just people's inability or not wanting to do things
like MPAs in your nose.
Yeah, like do things the way they should be done based off of, solid evidence. So I'm scaling it back. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you stopped by. I'm glad you've been touring Greenville and checking out all our stuff. So here you are.
I do feel like I know you just from like the conversations on Instagram. Like I feel like I know you, but don't know you.
Right.
It's like on Instagram, like we talked, we've argued together, posted stuff, we made fun of people together, but this is like the first time we've actually got to talk, so it's weird.
Right. I was going to say, seeing people in person.
Yes, exactly.
We'll throw it out there from the internet. KM Contreras, Contreras 8. So go follow her, and we'll up her followers. She's close to 1,000. Let's get her over 1,000.
I'm super entertaining.
So you're. I'm looking at it. You're at 985 now. So we already follow you. So that's in there. So there's about 5 other people who follow the podcast. So you're going to be at 990 when I publish it. Close. You'll only have 10 to go after that. And probably by the time you get back home, at 1,000, you can put up a little 1,000 follower thing. It'll be awesome.
Totally give you all credit.
I'm here to help. Here to help, changing lives. So you got here this morning to give you a little tour of our building and how we teach and all that stuff. And I'm jealous of your program. You teach with more internet people. Ginger Locke from Medic Mindset. Have you been on her show?
I'm not, but I totally have her t-shirt on right now.
All right, that's cool. I need to get one. She's a personal hero. You've seen all of our whiteboards. I want you to go back. I want you to report to her. I want you to report that mine's filled with a bunch of stuff. I wrote that yesterday just so I could have that talking point. Yeah, just tell her I wrote on that. I talk to her every once in a while through text and ask her questions and try to validate my existence as an educator for EMS. So
she's one of my favorite people. She's one of the people I look up to.
She's a rock star. She is a rock star. She really has changed some things, that the way I look at a couple things in the classroom, and it's very motivating. It's very helpful, and it's nice. It's free. It's free Con Ed for me as an instructor. So I was really trying to work on getting her out here to be our speaker for our graduates last year, but it didn't happen. But maybe going to get her to Skype in to an auditorium full of people. One day. I'll work on it. So, and then Dietrich's here, the Skinny Medic YouTube, Medical Gear Outfitters. Go buy his stuff.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, he's like, Skinny Medic's here. Like, no big deal.
I have 19,000 followers on the IG. Oh, no, the YouTubes. Sorry.
I think I'm on like 22,000.
Shut up.
And I'm at like 90,000 on YouTube. Hopefully we're going to cross 100,000 this spring, get my YouTube play button.
Get a little button, yeah.
I'll be excited about that, hanging up at the shop.
Cool. That's awesome. And you can go check him out and buy his stuff, because he sells high-speed first aid stuff. Let's talk about that, Dietrich. Let's tell the story again.
I was actually telling this story to one of your students.
I tell it as much as I possibly can, because it's all I have.
So I worked, not yesterday, I guess first of the week, worked with one of your students on the ambulance. She was scared to death. She's a brand new paramedic, and I was like, well, we won't kill anybody. We may break a few policies, protocols, but we won't kill anybody. And I tried to say that I was an EMT. Basic, because she was scared to death, and she was like, I know who you are, Dietrich. I went to Ruggiro's class. I'm like, dang, so I was like, hey, yeah, the first time Ruggiero and I met was in little Simpsonville Post at 5 o'clock in the morning, I had no idea who he was. He probably didn't know who I was. And like, I just came from a small EMS service, coming to this big EMS service, and he was doing research on tourniquets, putting tourniquets on the ambulance. And I was like, dude, we do not need tourniquets on the ambulance. Those are military. I've never needed one.
I need a rag and a stick.
Yeah, like I was taught cravats and stick, a windlass. I'm like, I've never used a tourniquet in the field at that time.
I'm a prepper. I live off the land, and you're not going to have this in the field. And I was like, okay. And I remember the look on Nate's face, and he was just like letting it go. And I was like, well, all right then, buddy. Whatever. And I think I left, and I remember Nate telling me, he's like, hey, man, I took care of that when you left. You know who you're talking to. You just did research. At the time, I was doing research. It wasn't research. It wasn't real research. There's no Andy Fisher research. It was a literature review. And, we got very lucky. Registry had just put commercial tourniquets into the bleeding wounds and shock management check sheet. And I thought it was cool, and I got a lot of help from North American. They gave me a lot of data, a lot of tourniquet research, and I must have went through probably 75 papers that had been written on hemorrhage control coming out of the war, and we got very lucky at the time, because right as I was handing that in, one of our Thames medics was on a shotgun wound to the groin, and debated whether he should put a tourniquet on, and he did, and he saved the guy's life, and it was perfect timing, and within the next 4 weeks, there was a tourniquet on every county vehicle, which was great, and we were doing education at the trauma center, the emergency room, everywhere, and it just kind of went from there, which was cool. And again, we're spoiled in our location. We have North American Rescue in the backyard. They're right off the highway. There's tons of knowledge, tons of education, the willingness to help out the local stuff. The tourniquet's actually produced in, I'm going to screw it up. It's written on the bottom of it. What is it?
Rock Hill.
Yeah, Rock Hill, South Carolina, which again, still right up the highway from us. So it was really cool. It was a good story, stuff that was being used in combat, being used on the ambulance, and it's making a difference. It's produced here and marketed here in South Carolina, and it worked out. So, but I always remember back, and keep going there, Dietrich. What happened a year later after that interaction? What did you do? What were you doing? You started your business.
Started YouTube videos. My first video I ever did on YouTube was the cat tourniquet.
The cat tourniquet? The commercial tourniquet?
Yes.
Not the rag and the stick?
Not the rag and the stick.
I'm just
showing you how to use it.
Sure.
And I think now I'm up to 6 applications in the field. Commercial tourniquet.
Right.
All of them. Yeah, in the pre-hospital setting. So, yeah. So now I make a living talking about tourniquets.
Commercial tourniquet? Commercial tourniquets, CATI approved tourniquets.
Yes.
Evidence-based medicine.
My last video even kind of talked about how improvised tourniquets, there's a lot of data that talks about how they don't really work very much. So
40 to 60% fail.
See, you're both a bunch of nerds that know the numbers. I'm just like, they don't work.
I put it on my slide, so it's a little tiny point, so I remember.
Nice.
Put that in there.
So, and it's good. You know what? The general public, they don't care. I took all the science out of my stuff. They're like, oh, really? This guy found that out in the war, so they work? Yeah, they work. Hey, where do I buy one? Can you show me how to put that on? You got it. That's what I'm here for. Let's learn how to put it on. Let's put it on effectively. So that's good. What are you guys doing for Stop the Bleed Month? You're both involved, right? Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing? Anything you planning right now?
Our county is actually going to do a proclamation for it, so we're
Cool.
working on putting some classes together all month. I'm in contact with Rin Neely out of Cypress Creek, EMS down there.
They're pretty much rock stars across the board right now for the last however many years.
Yes.
Blood in the field. You guys are awesome.
They're about 3 hours away, but so I'm trying to work with him because he's our overall state person for Stop the Bleed. So.
I don't remember who ours is, but we just do our thing.
Yeah, I got asked, like, hey, do you want to do it? And I'm like, I think we already have one for South Carolina.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah. Like I don't know who it is either. But, yeah, we're going to do something. We're going to do something through the EMS service. I think that's kind of help push that. And we'll be doing something here, I assume.
Yeah.
Together.
You assume correctly.
So, like we did last year. That was a good time last year here.
So, this year it got moved from Stop the Bleed Day to Stop the Bleed Month, which is pretty cool, and it's May instead of March. And lucky for us, you can easily make it coincide with EMS week, and that's probably what we'll end up doing. Also, the good part of that for us is we're between semesters. Even though we have a summer semester, it'll be time off for us. It'll be between our spring and our summer semester, so it'll work out really well. What did we do last year? 68 people. 68 people in 6 hours.
Yeah, like we did 4 classes, I think.
Yeah. And it was successful. I think that was a success. It wasn't as much as I thought, but my brain got the better of me. I was like, let's train 1,000 people. I don't know that you can do that without just walking up to people and saying, "Come here." Have you heard the word of our Savior, Saint Fisher, and about tourniquet application and hemorrhage control?
There's plenty of memes you can put up for that one.
So many.
They're awesome, though.
So, and it's fine. We've been successful with sidewalk CPR and hands-only CPR. There's no reason the tourniquet's not the next thing. So, and it should be, I've joked 100 times that steps to CPR should be printed on your receipt at the grocery store or the Walmart. And, it's something that everyone has. They don't ever really look at it, but they're aware it's there. You should have that just-in-time pamphlet for the Stop the Bleed stuff printed on the back of that so you can read it and go, this is interesting. It's like subliminal. You expose to it over and over and over, you just don't know it. And then, you seek out the training, and when the time comes, you step up and you stop the bleed. So, what else?
You gotta do like your typical story, like, all right, Katie, how did you get an EMS? Like, were you like a whacker, still a whacker?
Yeah.
Like Chris and I.
The standard Medic Up questions. I gotcha. So when Medic Up started as free therapy for me. If you haven't listened to any of the episodes, and I know you haven't. So it started as free therapy for me because it started up as a way for me to lower my high blood pressure and not do something stupid at the last job I had. So it became a creative outlet, and it started with we have a outstanding student of the class from our paramedic school, and they're voted on by their peers, and we have other awards, but they're voted on by their peers. So I went and tracked those down through the past 6 cohorts, and I brought them on, and I asked them questions. So it was cool. It took the span of brand new paramedics from 6 months out of school all the way up to their 5th year of practice. And it showed, we asked them questions, how did you deal with your first year, the survival year, how long have you been in, what have you learned, what was the most terrifying thing for you, just simple questions. And it was really cool, and it was meant to give current paramedic students and EMT students kind of hey, that's exactly how I feel right now. Okay, good, that's normal. Over time, this is what I have to look forward to if I want to, make this a career. I don't really know how it's worked. I got to have them back, I guess, or have some other the new kids come back and see if it worked. So, how'd you get here? There's 2 types of people. I saw a horrible accident and I felt helpless, and I said I'll never be helpless again. So I went to EMT school, and here I am. Or I got lost in my way to nursing and or medical school. I'm just trying it out to see if I can handle it, and here I am because I nerded out. I fell in love with EMS, and I love the ambulance. So how'd you get here? Besides the airplane from here.
Kind of a mix and a really long drive with no speed limits. But so I actually did, when I was 18 or 19, I was doing fast food. So I was a manager at Wiener Schnitzel.
Cool.
Yeah, and I learned a whole lot of that I don't like high school kids.
Wow.
Because their parents would call in sick for them because they had a long day at school, so they can't work tonight. So I left from there, and I started working at Schlitterbahn, which is one of our water parks.
You just want to work at all German names. Like,
yes.
German things are real big in Texas?
They are, some areas. New Braunfels. Well,
we
have New Braunfels. Yeah, I was going to say, we have New Braunfels.
Okay.
And Schlitterbahn means slippery road. Fun things to learn.
Right, so you're a tour guide.
But so I was doing our lifeguard competition. We have a competition team at Schlitterbahn, and I ended up winning the state guard thing, and one of my teammates, one of our coaches, is a paramedic, and he had recommended, he was like, hey, you should consider EMT school. So I considered EMT, went through it that summer, then went right into fire academy because I was going to do fire forever, and not so much because I went to paramedic school.
Because fire is horrible because the building is on fire and you have to go in it. That's why. And all the things burning inside cause horrible cancer. So, and it's on fire. I don't know if I mentioned that.
They're so structured. They have like the whole structure thing, and you have to do what you're told.
There's fire.
Reasons and stuff. So
EMS doesn't have that.
No,
I want to go work where you work.
It's different. But so I've been a paramedic for 15 years, and then I also teach at Austin Community College. I've been there 10 years now.
Cool. Good deal. I got into it from lifeguarding too, but I didn't win any cool awards. I just didn't drown, and I talked about it before. We learned CPR, or there was a video, maybe backboarding, whatever it was. Whatever. The video was, the dude was in the pool. They pulled him out. He was in cardiac arrest. They dried him off. They defibrillated him. And I was like, ooh, I want to do that. And the instructor was like, well, you're doing that. You're in class for lifeguarding. I said, no, I want to do the shock thing. And then it just kind of went from there. So Dietrich was born on an ambulance, right?
Pretty much. It seemed like it. It's like my dad was a fire chief. I remember like riding with him and doing stuff, and that's what I want to be. So I've never had a real job before. I worked at a hobby shop through EMT school, flew airplanes and little remote control cars through high school, and then got out of high school and was in paramedic school before I knew it, and never really had a real job.
You're one of those, I can give morphine but couldn't buy beer, right? Weren't you?
Right,
You
yes.
were a medic before you were 21. Yeah, right?
So I love it. Like, I love EMS. I'm still a whacker. Like, I still listen to stuff. Like, every time the ambulance drives by, I'm like looking out the window.
If anyone needed an interpretation about listening to stuff, he means a scanner.
Oh yeah, I still have a scanner.
Yeah, I know what it meant.
There's 2 radios in my truck right now. Like, I love it, and I really love EMS part time.
You're a whacker. That's cool. Is that a term in Texas too, or no? What do you guys call them?
No.
Do you guys have?
They're usually woo-woos.
Woo-woos?
That's my little.
No, wait. That's for the.
Yeah.
Is that for the whack or the person who likes EMS or loves EMS, or is that the ambulance term?
That's just for all of them. All the people like when you go to conference and you're 4 hours away, but they still have their radio.
Oh
on.
yeah, those guys.
They're wearing their duty belt.
I always like in New York they call them buffs. BUFF. I was like, man, I'm glad that. And I always thought, like, I heard Georgia was nozzle nuts, but I'm like, that's got to be a fire thing. That's not EMS. Yeah, it's not. I'm glad it's not us. Like whacker, I just feel like I brought that down here. I don't even know what Ricky Rescue probably.
Yeah, Ricky Rescue. That's
Ricky Rescue.
We've got those guys. Like, we still have volunteer rescue squads in the county I'm in right now, and like, you got the guy who's like, his car's almost gonna catch on fire for all the stuff he's got wired in his car. Like, awesome, dude.
Up north, it's different. I think it's probably different because I came from Pennsylvania, and that was Jersey's real big into it, and I think it's changing now. Blue lights on your personal vehicle for all the volleys. And like, I remember you had to get a permit. I swear I never had it. And that I really was clearing my throat. It's not code for like I did have it. I just didn't want to say. I never had blue light. Yeah, foot stomp, right?
Yeah.
And I never had it. And those are. Where's it going with? Oh, those were the type of people where it was supposed to be like a blue light for your dash, but then you would meet people who would have like a little old school Ford Festiva where it had a full light bar on the top of it, but like it was before LEDs, right? So when the thing would turn, like the lights would turn around inside the lens, like you would think like by the time you turn that on, the car would turn around because it was a tiny little Ford Festiva, and these people would be screaming to calls, and it was a crazy time. I swear, as I'm sitting in front of you today, I swear I never did that. It was not me. I was always really close to an ambulance station, so I would just mosey and then get on the truck.
Yeah. We were talking about before, like, I would put LEDs on my truck.
I know.
I would put a rumbler, and like, I would be.
I know you would.
Go all
I
out.
know what's in your truck right now, and I know you would. So
there's some cool stuff in my truck right now.
I'm not debating the coolness of stuff in your truck. I'm just saying I know what's in there, and if I needed
the loadout thing.
And
the
loadout
thing is nice.
If I needed 2 full walk packages, I could walk out to the driveway right now and get them. So
if the zombie apocalypse happened right now, we have enough stuff to get home.
Okay.
We could go to Simpsonville and Pickens. It'd be just fine.
Drop me off. Thank you. Drop me off at the house. That'd be great. Katie, you're on your own. We're sorry.
It's a long way back to Texas.
Airport's up the road.
It's a long way.
Airport's up the road.
I probably do need you to organize my truck while you're here, Katie, because like you're super OCD on stuff. I watch your Instagram, and I'm like, man, I wish I was that organized.
Oh, everything has to have its place. It has to be numerical and symmetrical. I think 67 tourniquets now, and they're all numbered, and they're in
67
order.
tourniquets.
Mine are numbered, but some are numbered twice because I don't care. Just so I know that they're mine and people don't steal them.
That's it. I'll hand them out in order. I'm like, no, you have to get this one. This one's next. This one's next.
Jesus.
I thought I had a lot of tourniquets. 67 is a good number.
It's a bad number.
Even number? Do you need even number?
I need even numbers. It should have been 65. And somewhere along the way, I picked up some extra.
So you stole from the student. Like, the students usually have to take them. They're like, I know she said don't take them, and we shouldn't use the training ones for real calls, but she doesn't know. She won't know. That's why mine are numbered twice, because I think people steal them, and I can't find them because I'm unorganized. And then I renumbered them, like, oh, number 22 is missing. So I'll put 22, and then I'll go find another box, and they're hidden under moulage, and I'll be like, oh, now we have two 22s. And I'm okay with that.
So you're like really big into Stop the Bleed classes, right, obviously. What do you think is the biggest challenge about getting students or their civilian population into those classes?
I think a lot of people are just afraid of blood, afraid of being the person that helps. I actually did a show at our hospital does a health fair, and having the wound packing stuff set up, and there were people that were more than willing to learn tourniquets, but as soon as we'd start doing blood, they're like, oh, no, I'm not touching that.
That's my favorite part. I love it.
That's how I tell people. I'm like, no, you're going to make friends. We're going to put fingers in holes, and you're going to make friends.
Just get their name first.
Yeah.
You guys are dirty.
It's just, get their name first before you put the finger.
But that's how you get their attention. But yeah, I think that's the hardest thing is convincing people that, yes, you can help. It's really not that difficult. There's doing the training and stuff. It's out there, available.
Can you use TechLine? Are you using that for your wound packing, or which one do you use?
Yeah. Well, I have four tech lines, one of the True Clot, and then one or two wound cubes. Okay. So my wound cubes bleed, though.
That's what
I needed them to bleed.
Yes, and I don't know if this will be. Are you going to release it after SHOT Show or before SHOT Show?
Before. When is SHOT Show? I'm out this year.
Okay.
I just don't.
Just pay attention to Focus Research Group. I think you're gonna like what comes after SHOT Show.
I got away from the SHOT Show. Yeah, because you won't take me. Yeah, you won't go.
I think you're gonna.
They did the wound tube and the other one.
And that one's it's gonna bleed.
Oh, nice.
It's gonna bleed.
Hey, that company, Responder Solutions Group, they put out the wound cup. I heard from the cup that they made. Those guys.
Nice.
The coolest training company you never heard of that doesn't exist anymore.
It went away quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I talked about the wound cube. I like it because it has different angles, and I like the long laceration. But I was like, God, it needs to bleed. Like, I like that feedback from the students when they get done, it stops bleeding. And so, they already had it in the works. It wasn't anything I said, but yeah, they're. Because I do like the tech line. I like to bleed, like getting blood all over the sidewalk, or like someone got massacred out there, and I'm like, that's the cool.
I like the noise it makes when it starts squishing.
I do. That look like we did that, and like same thing. Like we had to do that for teachers, and they were like, "Oh, I can't do that." I'm like, yeah, you can. You're gonna do this. And
just tell them close your eyes. Close your eyes and do it.
They almost like vomited. Like we could almost get them to puke. Like just kind of nudge them a little bit. So
that's talking about the sound it makes. The True Clot with I have the laceration one, and people get in there and they're putting fingers in, and it always splashes up everywhere. You get blood everywhere.
We pressurized the TechLine one, and
volcano.
And people always like they'll look inside of it, and I'm like, all right, stage out your gauze. This is what we're gonna do. You've seen it. You saw the demo, and they're like, all right. And I have a pressurized like garden sprayer that I'll press my thumb on, and they'll see me like messing with it, and they'll be like, okay, I'm ready. And I'll just wait, and they'll look, and I'll blast it, and it comes out, and they'll jam their hand in there, and they go to it. And they're like, it's not stopping. I'm like, press harder. Pack harder. Back towards the bone, back towards the heart. All the little nuggets of info they didn't listen to while they were watching the slide, and now it's bleeding everywhere.
No, there's blood over the sidewalk.
Blood everywhere, right.
It's fun.
You tell them, hey, I told you, it's 2 washings to get that out. Don't wash it with your normal clothing.
Good stuff.
Absolutely. Fun for me.
Yeah.
I'm not getting blood on me.
So I was aggravating Chris. I was like, I have to ask, cat or soft tea?
Oh.
Let's do it. Let's go there.
So for mine, I carry cat. So I have 2 cats in my bag. I have one, actually I had a picture of it on Facebook the other day, or Instagram, where TSA took another one of my pocket knives, but they did not take my decompression needle.
Nice.
But so I have my tourniquet in my backpack that I carry.
All right. I went to an amusement park in North Carolina, Carowinds Amusement Park, and this guy's probably hopefully a seasonal employee. I had my kid with me, just always because my kids are there, and they're searching it. Guy's like, "What's this?" And I was like, "It's not this first aid kit." Guy's like, he pulls a 10 gauge deco needle out, and he's like, "This?" I was like, "Part of the kit." And he looked at me, and he kind of looked, all right, I think I get it. All right, whatever. I was like, oh, don't throw that out. Don't be like that. You just put it back in. And my wife's like, think he understood? I was like, no, I don't. My next thing was like, it's a knitting needle. Just leave it alone.
Just go away.
I'm diabetic. Leave it alone.
I haven't had any problems. Like, I don't. Last time I flew, I didn't fly with a needle, though. It's like it was just like a pressure bandage, combat gauze, cat tourniquet, and like my bag got pulled both times, and like they're looking at it like it's not a bomb, it's fine. And but no, I never had a problem. The funny thing was like when I flew to Dallas, I thought I did everything right, flying with weapons. Like we had the lockable cases, had the ammo out, flew to an RA in Dallas, everything was fine. Flying out of Dallas, got pegged, and that chick took all my ammo. I'm like, she's like, no, you can't do it. It has because I didn't have my ammo in the right box.
It wasn't taped.
Oh wow.
I don't remember now. It has to be like I guess in another separate container.
Yep. Yeah.
I was like
separate,
ridiculous.
Closed, boxed, or taped over. Yeah.
But
Dad's got good stories about that.
I got to take care of it.
Yeah.
Another ammo company took care of me, so
right.
I appreciate it.
Right. So no, I don't know if I've ever flown with a needle. I can't remember, but I doubt it. I used to fly with a flashlight. I have a flashlight all the time, and I read an article. This is totally unrelated to TACMed, unless you were gonna use that flashlight as a windlass with Dietrich's rag, but he doesn't do that anymore. I read an article years and years ago, like people flying with flashlights and security saying something, and if people ever question it, just gotta get a little loud with them, be like, yeah, it's so I can see my way out of the wrecked fuselage when the plane goes down. And people are like, oh, hey, sir, why don't we take your flashlight, go sit down, go eat your free cookies. So I would assume I could do that with a needle. It's for when we depressurize and I have to pop your chest. You'll thank me later. So pretty sure that's going to get you a cavity search these days. So
yeah,
kind of watch my P's and Q's. Try not to fly.
Drug off your plane.
Right. Somebody YouTube this so I get my money back.
You gotta go Facebook Live with it.
YouTube me.
Go to Instagram Live. You'll be alright.
Put me on YouTube so I can tape it.
Yes.
So what else? So let's see. You said 15 years as a medic, Katie. You teaching for 10. Are you teaching at the same place where you were educated as a medic?
So I'm actually not.
No.
Which makes it interesting when we're doing class. I have a co-lead instructor for our EMT class, and luckily he went through the program. I went through a 9-month paramedic class on Bulverde, where Scott Bolliger is. Where he has his lab.
Scotty.
So Leslie Hernandez was my instructor out there, but we went through out there and then started working.
They're like rock star by association. That's pretty cool.
So it's nice having the cadaver lab there because we are able to go out there now.
I would assume you were an expert on the IO when you left because of Scotty.
Yeah.
He's good people.
That and airway.
Scotty was a judge for me and Dietrich. I think at least for 2 of our competitions in the state.
So the South Carolina Symposium.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I came to that I think 2 years ago.
Did you?
So.
Why? Just because?
Just because I did like a little tour. I went to that one, and then I went down to Lake Lanier.
We talked about that off air because Mom always said if you have something nice to say. Well, I don't think we were there 2 years ago, were we?
I I think we quit by then.
We were retired after that. We retired by then. So
yeah, I think the scene we watched was a bar thing.
That was not us.
Yeah, it was a bar set up, and they had a victim hidden behind the bar, and nobody found it.
We would have found it. We would have found it.
Yeah.
Dietrich and I would have found it. We would have looked behind the bar first.
Chris retired on me.
Made a drink.
Make it 4 in a row.
Made a drink so I could stop shaking, and then treated the rest of the patient.
I will say though, like Candace and I were talking about it. She was like, "Do you think someone is going to win state competition more than 3 years in a row?" I'm like, maybe, but Chris and I are going to go down in our wheelchairs, in our walkers, and we're going to be there.
I'll handle business, and I'll just retire again. Whatever. I mean, it's solid. It's always solid teams. I told you, man, we can work on our own competition up here. It's going to be cool. You'll see. It's going to be cool for EMS week. Stop the bleed. It's going to be fun.
I'm excited.
We're going to make EMS great again. Get some.
Do we need some hats and walls or?
Lots of walls.
Lots of walls. Can we talk about that or not?
I saw something this morning. It had a picture of a cartel vehicle trying to drive over the wall and it got stuck.
That's funny. I mean, the cartel's not funny, but that's funny. Usually use the poles.
Why would you drive over?
You're in Texas. Fix it. Yeah, it's all you. We got beautiful mountains. We are nestled in the mountains of the upstate where the weather is shitty today, but beautiful.
It's ranked every day for the last 6 months, it seems like.
Yeah. We miss the hurricanes most of the time. It doesn't snow that bad. And
you're going to have a wind chill of like -7 this week.
Put a coat on.
It's nonsense weather.
Put a coat on. We have hats in South Carolina. They call them toboggans. It's fine. It'll be fine as long as I don't got a shovel. I mean, I'm good.
I hate working EMS in the snow.
I hate working EMS in the weather, period. People say, how come you've been doing it for 25 years? Because I'm not smart enough to do anything else.
I hate working EMS in the rain. I do not want to I hate bringing patients out of the house. Like, they get drowned, we get drowned.
I cocoon them up. They're like, their mouth is hanging out. That's all you see.
I remember hanging out on scene for 45 minutes one day. Because it was like pouring down rain, and the house didn't have gutters. It was like a waterfall coming over. I'm like, we're not going anywhere.
I did that recently, but without a patient. We went to a doctor's office where the PA had she had tried to just call 911 for every patient she saw that day, and I'm like, the lady didn't want to go with us, and she's like, well, she needs to go. She needs a transfusion. I said, when did you get your labs? She knew her hemoglobin was low for like 4 weeks. She was scheduled for a transfusion later in the day, but the PA is like, take the ambulance. Like, you take your car. So, like, we kind of had a little word of prayer with the PA. Like, we've responded out to this office 4 times in the last 45 minutes. You probably don't need us for all this. And then the patient's like, I'm not going in the ambulance. We're like, hey, sign here. And like, we'd kind of gotten a little loud, right? And then we went available, and we're like going to storm out of the building, right? But it's pouring from the ground up. So I'm like, I'm just going to stand here, but I'm still mad.
You should just ask where a Keurig machine was and sit and have a cup of coffee. Like, we're just going to sit here for a few minutes now.
It was pretty awkward. So, well, that's cool. I mean, that's good on the education. And you're a lieutenant. You're training lieutenant now. So what do you got to do for that? Like,
do you have a Tahoe?
I don't, but I have a Harry Potter closet. So, because
do you base all your training on Harry Potter?
I actually reference.
Do you work it into a lot of your training stuff?
I work it more into like my papers for school and stuff. I try to do a movie reference.
That's absolutely lost on me because I've only seen like 30 minutes of the first one, and I'm well aware that there's like 9 or 7 books, and then there's his cousin with the beasts or something. Because my oldest daughter is probably like you, who knows all that stuff, and my wife, she's into it too, and I'm like, dude, whatever.
I have a Harry Potter riding a llama on my desk, and I have a little like Nimbus 2000, his broomstick.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
I'm completely lost here.
His broomstick, and it's a pin, and it floats on my desk.
It's pretty rad.
And yeah, I have a lot of toys on my desk.
So do I.
Yeah.
But mine is Luigi and Legos and Tyrannosaurus and tourniquets, because I'm a nerd. And if you're in this office, it's usually for discipline. So, yeah, never good. Never good.
So are you still in the ambulance full time, or is that kind of a...
No, I've actually been off the ambulance for a year. January was a year that I've been off.
You better get back on it.
Do you miss it?
Can you go? Can you come and go as you please? Like, you're like, oh, you know what? I got to do a presentation for IST tomorrow, but you know what? I'm going to go run calls. So can you do that or no?
We can to a point. So
really?
My captain, we do all the skills testing. So we do all of our FRO, our fire department. So we do all of their training. We do all of our internal training, and then we can do field evals. So we have our students do, or our new hires, I guess. But we can go out and we'll jump calls with them. And sometimes when it's nice in the summer, we'll go throw a mannequin out by the river and have calls, a crews dispatched to us.
Nice. That's cool.
That's fun. But my actual job is purely, it came across just straight out of the field. Our lieutenants are FTOs. Mm-hmm. So and I think we have 7 or 8 of them now. So I'm just the off the truck one, so that we had somebody who was always off the truck to do CE.
So do you travel to different stations for skills checkoffs, or do people come to you? Or
for our city trucks, because we cover I think 425 square miles or so, but my office in the city is 45 minutes from our furthest station.
Wow!
So everybody in the city of San Marcos, they will come to admin to do skills, and then everybody else, the outliers, I go to them.
And do you have that on a rotating basis, or is it every day people are coming to you for something? Or
it depends. We just did a whole credentialing thing. We got a new medical director 2 years ago, and so everybody re-credentialed from chiefs down, and it was a one-on-one interview and skills testing.
Oh wow!
So it was
impressive.
A lot. So
it's pretty cool,
and it's the first time we've done that. So it was a lot of good information. We have a really good doctor, so it was a challenge for a lot of people. So for that, I have people come in and do skills.
Wow.
So,
how many ambulances do you guys have?
We have 10 full-time and 3 that are power trucks or demand trucks, so they're 12-hour, and then we're getting another one.
Oh, is that what that word means in Texas? Demand? I saw that on the show. I mean, I'm like, demand unit, that's bad. I want to do that. I always thought that was the call-in truck or extra. Feel or they already know that they're going to run 12 calls in 10 hours. That's what I kind of figured.
Yeah, that's in Austin they have them too, and theirs are like that. Ours are kind of set into the schedule, so they're on peak times, but they may or may not. They're just in the rotation.
So, are they different shifts than your normal trucks?
They are. So we do.
Or do you go by call? Power truck, I know power truck as come in, run 6 calls, go home, no matter what you were scheduled. Or power truck. That was a neighboring county that used to do that. Our power trucks were
run 20 calls in 14 hours.
Those were 14-hour trucks instead of 12, and people, you would say, well, I hate working EMS in the rain, or I hate working EMS in the weather. I would always joke, and they'd say, we'd always have people come in, they want to ride, and our HR at the time would always say, talk to the people in blue, ask them what they like and what they don't like about this place, and they'll tell you. And someone would be like, what don't you like about it? I was like, power trucks, which it never really worked. And they're like, well, what don't you like? I said, there's only one thing worse than working 12-hour shifts, and it's working 14-hour shifts. So, yeah. So, you
just get murdered.
When you say weird number, I say arbitrary is the word.
Yeah.
If you understood the word you were looking for is arbitrary. So, because it did nothing.
Ours run on 12, 12, 24.
Okay.
So, and they're just part of the rotation. So, whatever calls they run. We're putting on a 4th one out in our furthest away county. And they start, those kids just graduated New Hire Academy. So, they just got put with FTOs this week.
How long's your New Hire Academy?
7 or 8 days.
Really?
Yeah. Is
that all office time, or is it split between office and ambulance riding?
It's all office. That's the office side of it. So once they go out from there, we use the FTEP program.
Oh, jealous.
So
we are aware, and we have our current training lieutenant who's been to the program, and we've added some things into it. I say they. I still work there, but I don't do that. Good program. Very good program. A lot of good ideas out of there. A lot of good processes. I don't know why it's not a standard. It's just, I know it costs a lot of money to get that going, but it's worth it. I think the payoff is outstanding. So, cool. That's very cool. Very cool.
So I think usually they're in that up to 6 months. So
that's awesome.
Depending on
the 6-month probationary period.
It's nice when you have experience, people coming in, so it's not just the standard
0 to hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on.
We have lots of those.
0 to hero. It's not a dirty word anymore. Not a dirty word. So Well, good deal. What was your first shift like? You remember it? What'd you say, 15 years?
Yeah.
Long ago. When you were going on the road instead of the office.
So it was actually October 3rd, 2003.
Wow,
man,
that's pretty good. I was October 14th, 2002 as a paramedic here.
That's funny.
I remember those numbers. All right, weird.
I remember mine was the end of December. Like, I don't remember the exact day, but I remember getting yelled at. It was fun.
Would never yell.
I'd never driven an ambulance before, so besides the EVOC class, which was like
all hour and a half. Yeah.
Throwing your partner around, like slamming on the brakes.
It's pretty weird. That first day EMS, I never did that backward serpentine. Still haven't. So.
I'm really good at that. I can parallel park an ambulance.
Right. I've never found an opportunity to do that. Not ever. No. Even in transfers. Not ever.
Place.
Right.
Yes, but so I was in EMT because I was hired with our first group of EMTs that the system had ever had. They were medic. Yeah, so nobody really wanted to work with the EMTs, and they weren't really sure what to do
but it shouldn't. It shouldn't be that way. Again, I was the EMT on the medic truck for 6 years before I went to paramedic school. So
me too.
I was that EMT.
I look back at my paramedic partner. I was like, oh my gosh, like she had to have hated me. But yeah, I was that EMT. That's
right.
Brand new.
Yeah, brand new. I miss those days.
So, but we're out in Dripping Springs, and back then, that's our furthest away place. It was super, super rural.
You say farthest away, super rural. Tell how long to the hospital? How long to a hospital? What could be resembling a hospital?
So where Dripping Springs is at, it can, depending on where, because we don't have mountains, but we have back roads.
Okay.
So if you're out at kind of the furthest point out, it can be about an hour and a half to a hospital. But then they also have a Band-Aid hospital closer in. But when you bring them a code, they ask, why are you bringing it here? So it's one of those, you have to plan to stay there and run the code with them.
That's still kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool.
But yeah, they're further out, so you actually get to do medicine out there.
Right, and that's where I was absolutely going to say the same thing. You get to do medicine and see the results of it too, which is cool. Spoiled 2 trauma centers, 25 miles apart, helicopters that were tripping over. We only really have 2 hospitals that are lower speed than the other 8, so we'll be all right. Yeah. But we are still, in our county, 800 some odd square miles, urban, suburban, rural. So not rural like you, like not. We have speed limits, we have back roads, but they're like dirt roads. So.
We do have some dirt roads up north.
Yeah.
We're getting to know that one, like you're not supposed to cut through up on Slater.
Right, because, the ambulance doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit. Like, you can always hear on the radio the rookie's like, oh yeah, sorry, we took the wrong road.
Yeah, the bridge doesn't work up in the watershed. Yeah, absolutely. So, cool. Let's see, what else? I should have be a better interviewer. I would have printed things out.
Oh, wow.
Is it a picture of a back road?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
oops.
Well.
Yeah, so they managed to... get that sunk in, and then they also the fire crew that came to save them also got stuck.
Awesome, and then again that becomes 2 memes instead of 1. It says who's rookie.
Yeah,
so, simple. Yes. I put that up all the time when it happens here. I'll be like, who's rookie? Who's new guy?